Good morning, good morning, good morning. And welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Hearts channel where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot mother freaking topics. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I don't need you to do nothing but go like the video. That's all I want you to do. Go hit the thumbs up and like the video, and that's it. Let's get into this Dear Deja letter. Dear Deja, so I have a shorty that I've been dating off and on for about 2 years. She's cool and honestly I could see a future with her. About 8 months ago, she began developing these spots on her back that I noticed during back shots. When I asked her about them, she said they were a birthmark. Now, I can't lie. I don't know this girl's body inside and out, but I know that shit wasn't there before, but I let it go. Those same spots started appearing on her upper body last summer. And when I inquired about them, she said she had gotten sunburned from a recent vacation. I let that go. Then the spots started appearing on her hands and face as well, and I convinced her that she needed to go to the dermatologist and get that checked out. It took a while, but she finally made the appointment, and turns out, as I figured, she has vitiligo. Okay. I wish I would have never asked her to go to that appointment because it seems like the very next day, the spotting started spreading everywhere. Here we are 90 plus days later, and she is covered in spots. No funny shit, Deja. I like her, but this shit is unattractive. I'm not trying to be mean, but my dick don't even get hard for her anymore. She's cool, but I can't be in a relationship with a woman I ain't screwing, and I can't force myself to be horny for a person I'm no longer attracted to. I don't want to hurt her feelings, so give me some words of wisdom to slide up out the situation without being looked at as the fuck boy. Holla at me, signed, this ain't the skin I want to be in. Woo, child. Hit the thumbs up on the video, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the thumbs up. I know sometimes we can get forgetful. Hit the thumbs up on this video, please, if you don't mind. How to help you slide up out this situation without looking like the F boy. I don't know if that's possible, but let's see what we can do. First of all, let me say this, right? I think whatever response you give this young lady is going to boil down to intention, right? Because a lot of times I learned that things matter to me when I know your intention. And I'm able to digest criticism and things that are being said to me that I feel are harsh if I know, once again, your intention, right? So I think we need to start off with you figuring out what's your intention, which it sounds like from what you shared with me is not the best intention for the young lady. So that's what's going to make this hard. That's what's going to make this hard because your intention is to remove yourself from a situation that you don't seem to be happy in. I just think that the reason why you're not happy is going to be viewed as a little shallow. And I don't think that's going to go over well with the young lady, no matter how nice you try to share that with her. So let me see. I got to really think about this one. Damn. All right. I could imagine that these new developments are not comfortable for her either. They're not comfortable for her either because really and truly, if something has, I know as a woman, right? When my skin doesn't look good, I don't feel good. When my hair is not done, I'm not in the best spirits. You know what I'm saying? So I could imagine with this new skin disorder that she already feels uncomfortable, right? My question that I would have to ask you is that the only reason that you want to separate? Because from what you shared in your letter earlier, you said that, we get along well, you could see a future with her. So is that only contingent upon the way that she looks? And I would be a total hypocrite if I said that I don't understand where you're coming from, because I could identify, right? It was very important to me as well to get a person that I was attracted to, because it was just important to me to have what I liked in a relationship. Because if not, and I see what I like somewhere else, then you may get curious. and peak in that someone else in that area with someone else because it is important for me to have what I'm attracted to. I think maybe you should ask yourself what's important to you in a relationship, and if it is really about the aesthetic of it all, I think you're gonna have to try to find a way to share that you wanna let go of the romantic relationship in a way that don't only focuses on the aesthetic. Because I'm sorry to tell you, but there will be no nice way for her to receive that. She's already feeling uncomfortable. She's already probably upset. You know, she's already feeling out of place because of her situation. And to have something happen that she's not happy about to have something happen that's going to upset her as a result of her situation is really going to sink her to a low place, right? And I know it's not your responsibility to make sure that she's happy, but it's also not your responsibility to add to her being sad, right? So before we jump out the window and say, I can't deal with this, let me go, let's see if that's a final decision, right? So I would be asking you to make a pros and a cons list about your situation to determine what's important to you, right? So once again, you would be putting down, you know, if maybe she's loyal, maybe she's successful, maybe she's smart, maybe these are all of the things that you want to put down. And then if the only negative on the other side is that she developed a skin disease, is that a reason to say this situation can't work? And I got why you said this situation can't work, because in the situation, if you're not attracted to her, then you guys won't be able to be physical. And I know most times men need to be physical in relationships, both parties, right? You know, and I know that she will be able to sense if you stop wanting to be physical with her, because we as women, we can detect when our man is shifting and moving and so on and so forth. But let's go back a little bit. You said in your letter that you and her were dating off and on. So did you guys confirm if this relationship is indeed a relationship? Because you made it seem like you liked her and you wanted to see where this could go, but you also didn't confirm if you're in a relationship. You just made it seem like y'all had been off and on. So that may be, and I want to say this in the kindest way possible, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm condoning you clipping her for her not looking the way you want her to, but I am trying to help you because you're the letter writer. That might be your way out. You know, that might be your way out. If you haven't officially agreed to be her man, then that might be your way of backing out of the situation, because technically I'm not in it, right? And I'm not, I don't want to condone you being an F-boy, right? But the situation is what it is. My suggestion would be, if you guys developed a really good friendship in whatever y'all had going on, I think you need to be honest with her. And I don't know that your friendship will survive your honesty, but at least you won't walk away feeling like an F-boy, because you did what was right. You told her the truth. Now, however she feels about you after receiving the truth, that's going to be on her, and you're going to have to understand that, and you're going to have to be okay with that. Right? So my suggestion would be, my dear, let me just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Just, you know, try to sit her down and share with her that this is something that you're not used to. You know, my only thing is that she probably is going to come back with, so our relationship or our situationship or whatever we are sharing in the moment is not good enough for you to give it time for you to get used to it. And in those moments, you have to do exactly what I just said. Be honest. Because while women can get frustrated with honesty, while we can be disappointed with honesty, and while honesty can sometimes anger us, in the end, we come to appreciate it. And I know that men don't want to hear that, because it's like, okay, well, in the moment, bitch, you didn't seem like you gave a fuck that I was telling you the truth. You tried to stab me. Yeah, I did. But when I thought back on it after you had lived, I realized that you was doing the right thing, and I appreciate that, right? So there's really, really no way for you to get around this. And I think the only way that you will become an F-boy is if you start being weird with her and she doesn't have an explanation for that. Women hate that. Women hate that. You know, they have this saying that says, don't start a vibe you can't maintain. That's what we mean. So if you already was treating me good and we was having a good old time and we was flowing smoothly and things was, looking like they was working in our favor, automatically when you retreat or you withdraw and you don't share with me why, it really, 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 really bothers women. It really does. I don't know how it does for men because I'm not a man, but I can tell you as a woman and having female friends and siblings and cousins and so on and so forth, it does bother you when a man switches up the way he moves with you. And especially if he switches it up going backwards. So now it's not like you switch it up, you spending more time with me and we sexing more. Now you barely touching me, you barely coming around me, you barely calling me, and you're not giving me an explanation. So I think for you, the best thing that I can give to you in a session would be to be honest with her, right? To be honest with her. After being honest with her, you have to also accept whatever terms she wants this situation to be on after you share your honesty with her. Because I think also what also might be the issue is, like you said, you like her, you care about her, and there's some shallow bullshit. So you worried about what she's going to think of you after she knows that you kind of dipping on her because she's having some health issues, right? And I mean, if you're hell-bent on dipping, then you can't care that much what she's going to think about you. And if that's the case, my dear, you have to be honest. You have to be honest. I will go a little deeper and say, even if you decide to stay with the young lady or not, then you may need to come in for your healing heart session, because in relationships, especially the ones that you want to grow, there will be plenty of changes and there will be physical changes. And that's in men and women. And if you're only with a person because of the aesthetic of things, once those things shift and change, you'll constantly be shifting and changing relationships, because you're not there building anything past how people look. Everything is pretty much on the surface. And if that's what you want to build, right? Because I do know we are in a day and age where people want to be like couple goals, and I want you to look like freaking a movie star and I look like this and we step out together, and I get all of that. But what I've come to learn is that when you are only dealing with the exterior in your relationships, they don't really last. Because no matter what happens with the exterior, whether for the better or the worse, it's really the interior of a person that you're going to be dealing with and living with and connecting to day in and day out. Right? So while you may know a very beautiful woman, you may not like who she is as a woman. But just because she's beautiful and that's something that you're very concerned about, you're willing to put up with some of the F-girl shit that she may have going on. Is that going to make you happy? Because if this young lady has qualities within her that supersede anything of the physical, I honestly think in my heart of hearts that you should rethink this. Because if you're letting go of something that has the potential to be great because of one minor setback, then will you ever be able to engage in anything of substance and anything that's meaningful if it doesn't look the way you want it to look? Right? I always tell everybody, before I dated Pookie, I dated a guy who had a very good resume. He had a very good resume, right? So if you see him on paper, you'll be like, okay, yeah, this one here, look what they got going on, yada, yada, yada. When I first got with Pookie, he was in an unfortunate situation, so his resume wasn't as impressive as one would like, right? Because of his circumstances. So when people were looking at one resume and looking at the other, they were trying to persuade me to think that I was a fool because I was choosing the less decorative resume. And what I constantly had to show, because I wasn't going to keep telling a person, what I constantly had to show was that everything that looked good on paper, everything that glittered, was not gold. Was not gold. Yeah, things don't look great on Pookie's end, But that doesn't mean that they aren't great just because of the way that they look. Right? And here we are, praise God. Next month, as a matter of fact, in about a week or two, we'll be celebrating 8 years strong. 8 years strong. One of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. You know, was to not focus on the way things looked and to get into the interior of what was taking place so I could have something of substance. Right? So while I do understand that you definitely want to be sexually aroused by your partner, you want to be turned on by them, and you want to make things do what it do, I also know that there is going to be other factors that you have to include if you want you want a relationship of substance or something serious. And while I think it's very unfortunate that the young lady is having this health issue, I don't think it's the end or be all. And I don't think it should be treated as such. Now, while I am not familiar with vitiligo, I can't tell you, anything about it, so I don't want to tell you, oh, she can be cured by tomorrow or she'll never. I don't know. I can't say. That's something that you guys can do some further research on if you choose to. My only thing is, just be sure that the choice you're making, that if it's only based on one thing, that's really what you want to do. Because you didn't say to me, oh, not only is it that, but it's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You opened up the letter saying, I actually could see myself having a future with this young lady. So that leads me to believe that all of the things that you're looking for in a woman or in a relationship, she might possess. But just because it doesn't look the way you want it to look, you're willing to throw all of that away. Make it make sense. So for me, I would be asking you in a Healing Heart session, I would say, okay, well, since you're telling me that you think you need to disconnect from this situation, in order for you to be clear, let's do a pros and a cons list, right? When doing a pros and a cons list, if the pros outweigh the cons, then you have to ask yourself, am I making the best decision? Now, I kind of think I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, no, Deja, it may be more pros than cons, but this con is so big that it takes up all of the pros. If that's the case, then end it. Then end it. If that con takes away from all of the pros, then you end the relationship. But you do so amicably, and you do so respectfully, and you do so more importantly, honestly. So don't BS her. Don't start getting distant without giving her explanation. Don't start pretending you don't know you moving funny. Don't do any of those things. Sit her down and have the conversation. What I want in my relationships is 1, 2, and 3 being to make sure I'm sexually aroused by my partner. And because of the recent change of events, I don't find myself sexually aroused in this situation. Once again, I don't know how you're not going to come out looking like the F-boy, because I don't even think it's only that you will be hurting her feelings by sharing that with her. But I also think because it's the only thing that you have. And it goes back to what I just said about Pookie's situation. That was his only issue. If I would have held his circumstances against him in those moments, what kind of situation would I have had? Here we are almost 8 years later with a beautiful thing and a different set of circumstances. So while you may be looking for somebody that sexually arouses you so you can make sure to be able to get your humps and your pumps, make sure that they are a solid woman like the one you just described, because you are walking away from what you described as somebody that's solid and you can see a future with, because things don't look the way you want them to right now. That may not be her circumstances always. Who knows? You may not be turned off always. Who knows? Right? But if you're willing to throw your potential relationship away because of a set of temporary circumstances, then okay. My suggestion to you as a heart healer is be honest and share that. But you can't tell me that you want to walk away from this not looking like a F-boy when this is pretty much what fuck boys do. Again, if you'd have gave me a list of things on top of, then I would have understood 100%. But to say that she's these lovely things and that you can see a future with her, but because of this one set of circumstances, you're willing to let that go, that's pretty much what fuckboys do. I'm sorry. I just have to be honest, right? So, my dear, that's the long and the short of it. That is the long and the short of it. You be honest, you share. But before you do so, you make the pros and the cons list. And if the pros outweigh the cons, then I suggest you rethink your decision. If the pros outweigh the cons, but the con is so big that it overshadows all of the pros, then be my guest, be my guest. But you also have to be very respectful of what she decides after you share with her your reasoning for not wanting to continue y'all situationship, relationship, whatever it is that you guys have. So good luck, my dear. There's not, good luck, good luck, good luck, because there's no easy way to put this. And once again, it's unfortunate because it sounds like you guys have the potential to be so much more. But if you can't get through the rough times, then hey, I wouldn't want you around either. That's just me. So in any event, my dear, I hope I was able to help. I really, really do. Ladies and gentlemen, please like the video. Hit the thumbs up. Like the video. Hit the thumbs up. I'm not even asking for nothing else. Like the video. Hit the thumbs up. Right? And thank you for tuning in. Drop down in the comment section if you have some feedback regarding this letter. Please drop down in the comment section, because a lot of times I was at a loss for words. Also, if you're familiar with vitiligo and you want to share some information with this individual to kind of help him understand, we would love that. Drop down in the comment section. If you're new here, welcome my new subbies. If you're just breezing by my channel, please make sure you subscribe. I appreciate you guys so much, and you enjoy your day.